Rock group The Grateful Dead was in Washington, D.C. this week, spending some time with one of their most famous fans, Vice President Al Gore. Percussionist Mickey Hart has made it his cause to give a voice to the tribes and cultures around the world that are in danger of disappearing. It's a cause that goes hand in hand with preserving the environment. Lucky Severson has the story.
There are easily tens of thousands of hours of music stored in this building, maybe even hundreds of thousands of hours.
When he started the project, scholars told him it would be almost impossible, but it was a labor of love for Mickey Hart, percussionist for the legendary rock and roll band The Grateful Dead.
Roll away the dew. Roll away with the dew. Roll away, roll away.
And here they are in the Great Hall of the Library of Congress with an assortment of deadheads and Congress people like Senator Patrick Leahy.
Well, it used to be about the only U.S. senators you'd ever see at a Grateful Dead concert were myself and Al Gore.
This is not a Dead concert. They're here to honor the drum beat of the Grateful Dead, the man who chases sound and wants to share it.
I was a remote recordist. In the 60s, I started seeing these cultures, the precarious nature of these cultures, and the music part of it was falling off the side of the world. You know, it was just disappearing one by one.
And then he discovered that the Library of Congress had thousands of hours of the sounds of endangered cultures collecting dust.
And I thought that everyone should be able to hear this. Not a few scholars, but the people for which it was intended.
So he sifted through 80 hours of scratchy field recordings of the most endangered cultures.
It started off as a hobby, but it certainly has gotten out of hand. It was overwhelming when I first approached the repository. And I didn't know how to deal with it because I wasn't an expert in South American music or rainforest music. So I just let the music wash over me and went for the spirit.
When he found a recording that moved him, he spent hours and days cleaning it up, bathing it sonically and digitally. Then he joined forces with the Rykodisc record company and produced a CD for everybody to hear. It's called The Spirit Cries.
The best way to understand a culture is through its music, because all of their stories, their folk tales, their legends, their history as a people, their ancestors' dreams, everything is contained in the music. The music is the essence of their life. I mean, everything revolves around the music, their sound world, the way they relate to the animals, the way they relate to each other, is mediated through the music.
And while mankind is struggling to save the rainforests of South America, the tiny tribes that have survived nature for centuries are struggling to survive civilization and losing. These musicians of the Aluka people from the rainforests of French Guiana started their journey to the Library of Congress in a dugout canoe.
We base all of our music now, this popular Western music, on these traditions. This is where it all comes from. You know, the diaspora from Africa, from the indigenous music from South America, from the Native American music. This is the roots, the blues. You know, it came up through New Orleans, the parishes of New Orleans, and it mutated into Dixieland and jazz and big band and rock and roll.
It's been his odyssey, but he has received plenty of moral support from other members of the band, like Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir, who have devoted so much of their music to the cause of the environment.
We'll never get far from what we...
The music that we're playing now is all derived. It's all derivative. It's derivative from all of this earth music. And, you know, you can call it whatever you want. Folk music or, you know, people music or anything. You call it cultural treasure or anything, but it is in fact what humans do.
What started out as an intellectual pursuit for Mickey Hart turned into a very personal mission.
They're reaching out, they're crying out for help.
You can hear it in the music?
Oh, you can in the music, absolutely.
And that's why the spirit cries.
That's why the spirit cries.
The spirit's crying all over the universe.
That's right. And it uses sound to take the message. The sound carries the message.
The spirit may be crying, but the messenger is determined to keep it alive. For today, I'm Lucky Severson, NBC News, Washington.
Proceeds from the Spirit Cries CD will go back to the original artists, the people whose tribes and cultures are in jeopardy.
And in Washington, D.C., the Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia and Mickey Hart came to the Library of Congress in support of the new record, The Spirit Cries. It's an album of music from the Rainforest that Hart co-produced.
The rainforest isn't just trees and little critters and the cure for cancer. It's music and it's people. The best way to know a people is through his music.